Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me live. We'll get started just in a minute. If you have, or if you're here live, please drop a quick hello in the chat. Maybe let me know where you're listening or watching from. If you have any questions about LinkedIn ads or any challenges, any questions, or if you are wondering if it's the right channel for your company, please just write in the comments. I'll answer those questions after the main topic. Okay. So today we're diving into a super practical breakdown of how to use LinkedIn ads to reach decision makers in maritime tech without wasting your ad budget, or not relying on any guesswork. You're going to get a straightforward, quite simple process for setting up LinkedIn ads. There is a lot of nuances when it comes to LinkedIn advertising, so we can't go into everything, but I think if you have a good account structure and you understand the mindset of how to use LinkedIn, especially together with other channels like LinkedIn ads, your website, and so on, it can be a really effective channel for your company to reach your target accounts, the decision makers you want to reach. I think most maritime companies are ignoring maybe the most powerful B2B ad platform, or they're not getting results with LinkedIn ads. I think a lot of companies seem to have tried it for a little bit. So they have tried LinkedIn ads for a month or two. They haven't really got any results. They have gotten some impressions, some clicks, but not really any trackable results, inbound leads, meetings, deals from LinkedIn ads. I think, or in my opinion, companies will say it's too expensive. We did not get any results. We don't have enough time to learn it, because usually in maritime tech companies, you do not have that many marketers. And I think one big mistake when doing LinkedIn ads is to expect leads way too soon. But LinkedIn ads is built for B2B. It's really ideal for reaching specific job titles, specific companies and functions. It does have a lot of company data, and you also have a lot of intent data if you set it up right. So intent data, you can see which companies are engaging with your ads and also visiting your website if you are going to do the steps that I'm going to tell you about in this stream. I think the main objection is that most companies perceive LinkedIn ads as too expensive. But if you set up the account right and you have a long-term strategy and you don't expect leads too soon and you're targeting precisely, then LinkedIn will be really effective. You might also say that LinkedIn ads or LinkedIn as a platform don't have the type of buyers you want to reach. And that might be true. When you are starting out with LinkedIn ads, it's really, really important as a B2B company in maritime tech that you upload a list of accounts you want to target. So I'll go into more detail about this later, but say you upload a list of 500 companies you think are a good fit for your product or your service. LinkedIn will match that list to their users, and you can only target them, only target those users, only target those people inside of those companies that you think are a really good fit for your product or service. If you don't do that, then your results might be way worse than if you didn't. When it comes to LinkedIn ads, I believe it's best suited for building awareness and trust with high-value accounts. So you need to treat it as not as a lead generation channel necessarily, where you're getting a lot of leads and contact data into your CRM. Of course, you can generate leads with LinkedIn ads, but I don't think that's the main role of LinkedIn ads. The main role of LinkedIn ads is to make more people know about your company, your brand, and the product or service you're offering. So let's go into the setup of LinkedIn ads. When it comes to LinkedIn advertising, if you can track it, you can scale your ad account. And most maritime marketers are flying quite blind. When you are setting up your LinkedIn ads account, you have to set up what's called an insight tag. This is a piece of code you install on your website, and it lets you see which companies are viewing your ads or visiting your website. So the first thing the insight tag does is to also track conversions from your LinkedIn ads. So you can set up a conversion window and a conversion. So let's say you have a webinar. And what does a webinar campaign consist of? It consists of a landing page where you do the registration, and then you have a confirmation page, which we call usually a thank you page. And the landing page has a URL, let's say webinar / reduce fuel emissions, for example. When someone converts on that landing page, they enter their forms, their contact data, email, first name, phone number, and so on. They are redirected to the thank you page as a confirmation. If you're setting up your LinkedIn ads account and you want to track conversions, you can set up a conversion that says when a user has reached the thank you page, that counts as a conversion. So in that way, you can actually advertise on LinkedIn and get people to click on your ad, and then you can measure after when they have converted how many conversions you get. And then when you have those conversions, you can also measure how many of those conversions became deals, customers, how much revenue that LinkedIn ad gave you. It can also be different types of conversions, a bit higher funnel conversions. So I think having someone consume content on your website can be a conversion itself, depending on the objective of the campaign. Because sometimes the goal is to make someone who is not aware of you to be aware of you. So you could advertise a link to your product page or your service page, and then make your market aware that you're offering that solution. So in that sense, it will make sense to treat a page view or page scroll as a form or as a conversion. The reason why the insight tag is so important is because it helps you to optimize costs. Because LinkedIn ads can be expensive. It is true that if you set it up incorrectly, it can be expensive. But with the insight tag, you are building an audience, a list of people essentially that can be retargeted to. And if you don't know what retargeting means, it essentially just means that let's advertise to people who are already engaged with our ads and website. Like I mentioned, you can actually see which companies are viewing your ads, clicking on your ads, or visiting your website if you have the LinkedIn Insight tag. And maybe I did not mention that earlier, but the Insight tag is something you install on your website in the header of your website. You only install it once, and then the LinkedIn Insight tag will give you a lot of information about how companies are engaging with your ads and your website. And a cool thing, like a good bonus with the Insight tag, is it doesn't only track LinkedIn traffic. If you're getting traffic from Google Ads or from email marketing or meta ads or any other traffic source, the LinkedIn Insight tag will actually pick up on this as well. So when you are using the Insight tag, you kind of feed that, we can call it like a tracking pixel, and you can feed that data for like these valuable insights, and then do retargeting to advertise to people who are already aware of you. So that's the first step. You need to install the Insight tag when setting up your LinkedIn ads account. The second thing will be to integrate your CRM. So when it comes to your CRM, if you're using something like HubSpot, you can sync leads from LinkedIn to Legion forms and track directly from. So if you set up an ad, you get traffic and website visits from your ad, or maybe they convert on the lead generation ad. You can send that information on the lead generation ad. Let's say you have like a white paper, for example. You promote that white paper on LinkedIn, and people will automatically send their data, like their profile data from their LinkedIn profile to HubSpot. So there's a form on LinkedIn, you get the white paper, and then the information is sent to HubSpot directly. So it's kind of like a pre-filled form in a sense. So set up the LinkedIn Insight tag, and then install or integrate LinkedIn with your CRM. The second part of using LinkedIn ads for Maritime Tech is to set up campaign groups. If you don't have any campaign groups in LinkedIn, you don't have any control. You're flying really blind when it comes to the budget, the targeting, and the purpose of the campaign, or like the KPIs you're tracking. You can think of campaign groups like a folder where you keep related ad campaigns in one place, and each campaign inside the group has its own targeting and ads. But the group helps you to stay organized and in control, and it's easier to communicate the objective of that specific campaign group. So I like to set up 3 campaign groups. So just to add is that campaign groups is like one level above campaigns. So you only have 3 or 4 campaign groups usually. So the first campaign group you need to set up is a cold campaign group, or a prospecting campaign group, as I usually like to call it. So when it comes to the cold or prospecting group, you are doing awareness building, and usually when you are launching campaigns in this campaign group, you are focusing on the pain points you solve, the credibility of your offering and your company, so testimonials, data. So you have statistics on how the measurable outcomes of your service or your product gave a client, and maybe short videos and so on. When it comes to the cold layer, again, you're not that focused on traffic or leads. You're more focused on awareness and getting people to know you. So when you are starting out with LinkedIn ads, you will usually spend about 80 to 100% of your budget on this campaign group. And the reason is because you can't do retargeting yet, because you you probably don't have enough traffic. You don't have a big enough audience to retarget to, because on LinkedIn you actually need 300 people or members or more to retarget. So you need to build an audience you can retarget to. So you can then launch single ads, single image ads, short videos. It can be content that does not make people leave the LinkedIn platform. It's only about awareness building. And when you have done this, you set up a warm or a retargeting campaign group. So I usually call it retargeting. And the audience for this campaign group is the people who have visited your website, viewed your videos, engaged with your single image ads, and now you can actually give them something that's a bit more, bigger of a time commitment. So let's say get them to click on a case study. So you have a case study on your website. It could be a product comparison. It could be a product page. It could be a longer blog post, a webinar, or if you are attending a conference and you have a booth, maybe you could promote to, hey, let's meet us at this specific part of the conference for a meeting. And when you are starting to advertise in the retargeting layer, you will probably spend 10 to 20% of your budget, because you probably won't have a huge audience to retarget to yet. So it doesn't make sense to put too much of your budget here as of yet. And then you have the hot layer, or the conversion group, as I like to call it. And the name kind of gives it away. It's a campaign group where your goal is to convert your audience to a meeting, a sales qualified lead. So the audience will be people who have engaged with your company in the last 30 days. So maybe they have, recently viewed your ads, engaged pricing page, contact pages, and they have done it recently in the last 30 days. And then you would have kind of like stronger, higher commitment CTAs, call to actions, which will be demo, pricing, get a quote, let's book a meeting, talk to sales, and so on. And it will take quite a few months to get to the point where you can do these retargeting ads. But you will probably start using 10 or 20% of your budget in this campaign group in maybe month 4, 5, or 6. But the output of having these campaign groups is to build a full funnel system, and it kind of mirrors how your buyers buy, because you need to warm up people before they can buy from you. You need to make them aware of you before they can buy from you. I mean, and so you need to warm people up with low commitment, short content, and then over time give them bigger commitment offers, webinars, maybe something on your website. And then over time, they will be ready to request a meeting, for example, with you. And that brings me into the audiences. I mentioned the word audiences for in many contexts in this stream. And one of the reasons why maritime tech companies are wasting their entire LinkedIn budget is because they're targeting the wrong people. LinkedIn ads can be expensive. If you have done LinkedIn ads before, you will see that CPCs are high. And if you're targeting the wrong companies, you're wasting a lot of money. Maybe you're targeting too broad, and you're thinking, oh, the more the better. But the good news with LinkedIn ads is that you can create really specific audiences that you can retarget to, and it will help you to reduce costs a lot. And of course, you can target people who actually are likely to buy. So there's different types of audiences. I don't think a lot of companies are aware of that they can set this up, but you have a website-based audience. So you can, again, with the insight tag, you can track all website visitors. So all the people who have gone to your website in the last 14, 30, 60, 90, or 180 days, you can see which companies have done so. So you can also retarget to these people. So you can either retarget to people who have visited all the website pages, or you can also do retargeting to people who have visited specific pages or a specific page. So let's say your product page or your request for pricing page, and they have been converted. Then you can do a retargeting ad to those specific visitors. Then you have single image audiences. So a single image is simply the type of ads you mostly see in your feed. it's a single image in the main feed of LinkedIn, which might probably be the most used type of campaign you will be doing for your own LinkedIn ads account. But when somebody views or engages with your single image ad, so let's say it's a blog post, read our blog post, read our case study, maybe you have a quote or a statistic that's relevant to your audience, and people engage with that image, you can actually retarget those engagers, people who have seen or viewed or clicked on the ad. They actually don't need to click on it either, they can just view it. You can retarget those. And then you also can retarget or create audiences of people who have visited your company page on LinkedIn. So if you're putting out a lot of organic content or paid content through your company page and people are following you and engaging with your content, you can also retarget them at the later stage, which is why having a lot of followers on your company page actually can be quite valuable. You also have video audiences. So if you put out a video and people view it, then you can retarget those, and you can also do based on percentages of how much they have viewed. So 25, 50, 75, or 100% viewed the video. A crucial audience in LinkedIn is the matched audiences, or uploading something from a CSV file or a CRM. So again, we use HubSpot because it makes this so easy. If we have created a list of accounts in HubSpot, let's say 500 target accounts, we can then sync this list to LinkedIn ads, and then LinkedIn ads will then build our audience for us. So we can then take only the highest likely companies, or the companies most likely to buy, upload those lists to HubSpot, then sync to LinkedIn, and then only advertise to these 500 companies. And then, of course, we can layer in job titles, functions, and so on. And I would also recommend, just a little tip, is to also have negative lists. So exclude partners, maybe your own company, exclude maybe there's an agency you're working with, resellers, investors, and also removing irrelevant job titles or functions, or maybe also excluding if there's like a giant company in your target account list. Maybe they should have their own audiences, like they're a tier 1 with 15,000 employees. They will take a lot of the impressions and clicks. So to narrow it even further, you should use some exclusions as well. So when you are getting started with LinkedIn ads, I would recommend to have like a 6-month timeline to make it really work. Because as I've mentioned previously, in the first few months, first 1 or 2 months, depending on the budget, of course, you will need to build up your audiences first. So the first month or 2, you will do initial prospecting. So initial prospecting for cold traffic. And most likely you will focus on single image ads. So you have photos, statistics, quotes, or maybe videos you have already made. So we don't want to spend too much time creating new creative. We can just use what you're already having, or what you already have. And then you can focus on the main value proposition, the main pain points you're solving, promote the core service or product pages on your website, kind of just tell the market, this is what we do for who. You can talk about the results of working with you. So if there's a specific outcome, like a cost reduction or some kind of financial return, or there's a testimonial from a happy customer. Short content that's not necessarily something you need to click on, but just to make people aware of what you do and what you offer. The audience for like a maritime tech company would be a list of target accounts. So again, if you have defined a list of a few hundred accounts you think is a perfect fit for your company, then you would upload that list to LinkedIn ads and then only target those companies with your ads. So the goal just to get on their radar, build awareness, and also get a list of 300 people we can retarget to at a later stage. So let's say 2-3 months later, we can do retargeting because we have done the initial prospecting, building up the audiences. Now the goal will be to get traffic and leads. And now we're kind of offering some higher commitment offers. That could be, again, single image. It could be a lead gen ad. It could be text ads on the right sidebar that has your logo and a short, just very little amount of text, or maybe spotlight ads. So maybe you will promote, a case study on your website. It can be a press release for an important feature you're launching, for example. It could be a subject matter expert in your company sharing expert advice through a webinar or a podcast or a physical event, for example. It could be downloadable content if it's a white paper, for example, and then also it could be a newsletter, sign up for a newsletter, for example. So now we want to get more traffic to our website. We want to get more leads in our CRM that we can, nurture and warm up. Next is the, high intent conversion focuses campaign. So we're still doing the prospecting. The prospecting is kind of feeding into the retargeting audiences, and then the retargeting audiences lets us focus some of our budget on the high intent, ready to buy audiences. So when we have built up retargeting audiences, and we have the audiences called 30-day website visitors or company page engagers or video viewers, then we would push for a sales conversation. So that could be, book a call, talk to our team, get our pricing, get a demo of our product. And our goal is to convert the warmest traffic, the most, ready to buy traffic, and get those to book a meeting on our website. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this topic is to think long term, because you will probably not start doing LinkedIn ads and the first week you're going to get inbound leads. And I've seen it happen, and it's great when it does happen, but that's an exception, not a rule. So LinkedIn ads usually work really well if you have a more of a long-term mindset. You get the tracking right, set up the insight tag, then you integrate it with your CRM to see which campaigns are converting and which contacts are leading to deals and revenue opportunities and customers. And then you need to have the right structure of the campaign groups to mirror the way your buyers want to buy. So awareness, consideration, decision. Don't expect a lot of leads in the first month or two. Again, you can get a few leads, and that's amazing, but I would not be disappointed if it did not happen. And make sure to set up all the different audiences. So when setting up your LinkedIn ads account, there's a lot of audiences to set up, but it's worth it, because when you have set it up, you only need to do it once. So it's the website visits, the single image ones, the video viewers, the company page engagers, and the target account lists. So we helped a lot of maritime companies with LinkedIn ads. So if that's something you want help with, just send me a short message. But that was everything for today. So thanks for attending, and then I'll see you next week.